what the WellSharp Plus is doing is trying to incorporate more simulation-based exercises, which is way above and beyond what the current WellSharp does, with just the normal practical assessment during the week, and some some more exercises in the simulator. What WellSharp Plus does is it puts you in certain situations as a team and forces you to interact and make decisions. To people naturally, some people are leaders, and that'll come out, the communication and all that stuff. So yeah, we're kind of doing that already, and then we plan on whatever the guidelines end up being ultimately is what we're going to implement at Rowan. Incorporating human factors, because we know that it's just doing well control every other year it's not enough, because there's so much more to actually doing good well control than just knowing enough to pass a test, or what some definitions are, or knowing the math. It's working as a team, understanding leadership and communication, and the importance of situational awareness and the decisions that you make when you encounter a problem. You open a well control manual and there's flow charts or processes. If this happens, do this. If this happens, do that. But there's no perfect flow chart for every single situation you could run across. So helping people to understand the importance of decision making, not just as an individual, but as a team, and using your team, that is, that's what WellSharp Plus is trying to incorporate.
WellSharp Plus also improves on the traditional classroom delivery of well-control training by putting every student into action mode, as participants at the IADC workshop experienced.
What's the best way to learn? The best way to learn is by doing. And so programs like here at Maersk, where they have the immersive simulator exercises, where you put folks in their environment, operating their equipment in the scenarios and wells that they're going to be drilling, and then teach them these crew resource management skills, these non-technical skills of decision making, leadership, communication, situational awareness, and teamwork, giving them challenges and difficulties and problems that they'd run into normally, allow them to exercise how they would, train and use some of these new skills that they've been developing, and then get debriefed by a professional on how to change or improve. Is going to have a long-term effect on both their mindset, the culture of the company and that particular crew, and in the long term, the industry.
Another important aspect of crew resource management, or CRM training, is debriefing, which guides each participant through the process of reflecting on the training exercises that just took place.
So, okay, so what happened? We gotta ask, what happened? What can you do better? What can you improve? I can give you an example right from the bat. Is one time we have the driller. Right, he started the operation. He briefed out the guys into the operation, and then a couple things went wrong, right? And then later on, this happened in the simulator exercise, and then later on, during the debrief, I just asked him, what can you do better, right? And he said, well, I think I should ask more questions to my crew. He came up with that conclusion. I wasn't the one pointing out. I just say, okay, what can you do better next time? So I think I could ask more questions to see if they really understand. And so, okay, this is great. So that's a lesson learned from experience that he can directly apply back to his job. It happens. I guarantee most of the guys, I would say all the guys that put themselves available to work in the industry, they are trying their best to do their best. They're trying to be more safety, more efficient, more safe, to work with more safe. But in the heat of the moment, with stress for time and the stress for reduced costs, we are not in our best shape. And that's where we tend to make poor decision making. Again, that's how CRM can help you identify when you are under stress, help you identify when you're in a position that you need to step back, say, wait, hold on, I need to think clear on this.
The need to invest in people is as critical as investing in new technologies, new equipment, and new policies and procedures.
When things pick up a lot, they're going to ramp up quickly. And if we don't already have something in place to be able to test these guys right away, and not just to test them, but to teach them, you get there's a lot of benefit that comes from team building, and that's why there's so much team building on a new build rig. They'll get the guys together because they've all come from different backgrounds. Some of them maybe know each other from other companies, or you get guys from rowing coming to a rig, and then guys from this company and a few from this company. The best thing to do to get them to learn to communicate and kind of get to know each other is just to do team building. If you can do team building at the same time you're doing realistic scenarios about well control, that's the best learning that you could possibly get from it. So we, the entire industry has learned to trim a lot of fat. But that doesn't mean that they're just trying to save absolutely every penny they can. We know that we have to spend money now in the downturn so that we're more successful when things do pick up. And if we don't do it now, what we would find is when things start ramping up, we would be way behind, and then it would almost be too late.
The importance of investing in personnel and competence development is recognized by drilling contractors and operators alike, who see that incorporation of CRM training is a necessary step to propel the drilling industry into the future, regardless of current oil prices or economic conditions.
It's always about economics, and it's a challenge, but it's always hard to convince somebody they're going to save $1 million tomorrow, but it's going to cost $100,000 today. You can't convince people of cost avoidance. So to go back to your question, my challenge is that you can't afford not to. If you want to move forward, if you want to really prevent the next accident or incident that's going to be very costly, you need to do this. So my challenge is you can't afford not to. About 4 years ago, BP saw Maersk Training delivering their immersive simulator exercises, incorporating crew resource management into their training. BP said, we have got to bring this into our company, our culture, but more importantly, we need to bring it to the industry. When BP has been doing their training like they have for the last couple of years, incorporating crew resource management into their exercises, they don't just bring BP people. We bring our drilling contractors in. We bring the onshore team. We bring the offshore team in. This is so good that the entire industry needs to see it. So this is not something that BP has just been doing in isolation. We would need to change the industry. BP wants to make the industry safer. Being able to share with IADC and bring these lessons that we've observed and have seen to be successful is really the next step in changing the industry. The industry needs to change because it comes down to people.